Shields resigns as the police chief of Atlanta after the officers from her department killed an unarmed black man, Rayshard Brooks, June 12, 2020. Now Erika Shields is the new police chief of Louisville, Kentucky, January 19th, 2021. So let's look at this. My God, what the hell is Louisville doing? What the hell is Greg Fisher doing? First you got that racist Greg, Steve Conrad. Now you got Erika Shields. What? There's a black man. She got fired from the black man. That makes her. That's terrible. You just had Breonna Taylor get. You don't want Erika. What the hell? What the hell is Louisville? The mayor of Louisville. What the hell? So here's Rayshard Brooks. This is the body camera. This is the body camera footage. And this goes on for 45 minutes. So this is at a Wendy's parking lot. There's a white car that's in line with Wendy's, and a cop is knocking on the window.
Come on, man. Hey. Come in. Hey. Hey, man, you're parked in the middle of the drive-thru line here. Hey.
Copy 41 no injured.
Sir.
25 westbound.
Okay, so it seems innocent enough. You got Wendy's parking lot. A lot of, cars are lined around Wendy's. This white car is just sitting right there in the middle of the line, and it looks like he's passed out drunk in the Wendy's line. So he was waiting for some food, and he just fell asleep, and now he's just sitting there. The police officer knocked on the window, opened the car doors, trying to poke him to wake him up, but he's just sitting there. So Rayshard Brooks, right? This is, okay.
Come, man. Hey, you're parked in the drive-thru right now. Hey, sir.
Called in by third
right?
party. We a black Toyota Camry in the unknown.
You're parked. You're sitting in the drive-thru line here. What's up? So you're parked in the drive-thru line. You're blocking traffic here.
So, seeming to be, nice enough, here's a little bit of Erika Shields addressing the George Floyd murder and how the police in Atlanta are doing better than the police in New York.
Knowing this, we at APD consistently discuss, very openly, race and race-related issues. Behaviors need to be put in check. Being polite, sensitive, or afraid of hitting problems head-on just doesn't work. We have too much authority not to deal with issues firmly and immediately. Our training academy does not teach, nor does the department tolerate any form of chokehold or holds the result and pressure to the neck area. We have relied heavily on our body-worn cameras to review the behaviors of officers to ensure that patterns of negative behavior are not being...
So she speaks so quietly and diplomatically and slowly, and she's sort of teleprompter. So here you have Atlanta Police Chief is ready to lock people up. She announces a zero-tolerance policy. That was 7 months ago. She announces a zero-tolerance policy, and then you have when did Rayshard, so she quits on, so that's June 12, 2020 is when Rayshard Brooks is going to die. So you have this lady, right, Erika Shields. Erika Shields announces a zero-tolerance, let's click on this. This is from 11 Alive. She announces a zero-tolerance policy.
Keep their conversation.
Good evening. My name is Erika Shields. I'm Chief of Police for the Atlanta Police Department. Yesterday, we knew that we anticipated that we would have a protest of some sort in light of the goings-on in Minneapolis. And just to be clear, no one in law enforcement who is of sound mind supports the behavior. That was a murder. It was a murder that was filmed and in broad daylight, and it didn't matter to the cop. What I'd say to you, it didn't just not matter to the cop, it didn't matter to that human being. And that goes to the greater issue at hand that my mayor is alluding to. Our posture in Atlanta is one of tolerance. It's the birthplace of civil rights. We have a very strong, affluent, and well-respected African-American community. And we take pride and view it as our responsibility to hear them. After the murder in Minneapolis, we knew there was going to be much anger, fear, raw emotion. Our posture with protests is one of tolerance. We accommodate the folks. We know we're going to get yelled at. We know we're going to get spit on. We know there's going to be a lot of anger to us. But that goes with our job, and it's okay. And we will accommodate those protests.
It's okay to spit on cops? That's an assault. That's gross.
They have a right to be heard. That was our posture as we went into.
That was their posture.
And initially, things were fairly routine. It became apparent a couple, 2-3 hours in, that there were people within the protest who were not here to protest. They were here to destroy Atlanta. The behavior was not to make a position statement. It was one of just violence.
So that wasn't...
Thankfully, we were in alignment, in agreement, and we had the support of Governor Kemp, who brought in the National Guard.
So, right, the protest, she's trying to be nice and conciliatory, but ultimately zero tolerance. So here's Rayshard Brooks, right? It seems like it starts out peaceful enough, but I guess they're going to arrest him, right? How dare you pass out? I mean, he's not doing anything. I remember at Mayberry, Otis was drunk, and they would just put him in the holding tank. He would sleep it off, and then they would release him the next day. But they're going to charge him with this and that. He's going to have to return, go through the, criminal justice system, over a misdemeanor takes years and this and that. So he has to go through all that rigmarole now. So now it looks like
keep looking for your license, all right?
I will get out.
No, just stay in the car for a minute, all right? Just stay in the car for a minute. Just look for your license. 3 or 4 to radio.
So here we got the car moved off to the side. It's off to the side. There's a parking lot, the side parking lot. There's nobody's parked. It's at night, so everybody's doing drive-through and nobody is in. So basically, Rayshard Brooks is alone by himself off to the side with 2 police officers, one with a big, souped-up black truck.
Maybe available DUI certified officers working in the zone right now.
I have any DUI certified units code 7.
So he was looking for his driver's license. He's driving a white Camry. He's peaceful, right? Yeah, he passed out. He's doing something illegal. They got to do something. But they made him. How did he drive? Did he drive his car over here? Hey, can you drive your car right over here? So they made him drive, right? They didn't witness him driving. Hell, somebody else could have drove it, and then he could have just sat in the driver's seat and took a nap. You don't know. You don't have the proof. They made him drive.
Oh, yeah, thank you. So, found him passed out in the parking lot. He's sitting here.
So he was in the drive?
Yeah, he did. On, car's on. Took me like a few minutes to wake him up. Kept knocking, opened the door, shook him. Woke up super groggy. Got pretty good smell of alcoholic beverage coming out of the car. Eyes are watery, glassy. Started his words. Wasn't sure where he was. And telling me he had 1 drink, he said earlier.
So, they all seem chill. They seem to be, City of Atlanta cop. He comes up and they're sitting there having this conversation. There's 2 vehicles now. So great, our heroes are here. Our boys in blue are here. This guy, he broke the law and he did something stupid, but he wasn't dangerous and it wasn't look like he was going to hurt anybody. Frankly, call one of his, friends and his family and tell him to pick him up and let the car stay right there and, give him, what the hell are you doing? Yell at him a little bit. But let him go. Let him fucking go. Instead, this is going to end in death. They're going to kill this guy.
Standard size. Tries, I think just 1 drink flag. It's not on still. And he's trying to tell me, where are you coming from? He said, well, I'm coming from Jonesboro. I got food. I said, what are you doing here? I got more food. So he's really not too clear,
From Wikipedia, on the night of June 12, 2020, Rayshard Brooks, a 27-year-old African-American man, was fatally shot by Atlanta Police Department Officer Garrett Rolfe. APD, Atlanta Police Department Officer Devin Bronson was responding to a complaint that a man, Rayshard Brooks, was asleep in a car blocking a Wendy's restaurant drive-thru lane at the scene. Brosnan radioed for assistance, and Rolfe arrived some minutes later. Rolfe conducted a breathalyzer exam, which indicated that Rayshard Brooks' blood alcohol content was above the legal limit for driving. I mean, come on, guys, of course. Garrett Roth and Devin Brosnan began to handcuff Rayshard Brooks, at which point Rayshard Brooks fought with the officers, got a hold of Brosner's taser, punched Roth, and ran away. Roth pursued Brooks on foot. Brooks half-turned and fired the laser towards Roth. We don't see any of this on camera. Roth then fired his weapon 3 times at Brooks, hitting him twice from behind. A third shot struck an occupied car. Brooks died after surgery. There's usually Wikipedia has a whole bunch of references, and I don't see any of those sentences referenced whatsoever. Footage of the incident recorded from the officers' body cams, a witness phone in the restaurant security system was widely broadcast. Police Chief Erika Shields resigned 1 day later. That same day, Roth was fired and Brosnan was placed on administrative duty. Roth was charged with felony murder and 10 other offenses. Brosnan with aggravated assault and 2 counts of violation of oath. So holy shit, they went above and beyond. My God, felony murder. So he was charged with it. That was last year, so I wonder how that case would be very, very interesting, because they put 10 charges, which means one of those, he's going to get hit with one of those. Game theory, right? If it was, did you kill the person, yes or no, it could go either way, just in terms of, 50-50, it's a coin toss, right? But you got 10, so if you flip a coin 10 times, you're guaranteed to hit heads or tails at least one time, right? So that means he's going to get convicted of something. So this is, Rayshard Brooks got killed by Garrett Roth, and here's a little bit of Erika Shields.
We have an obligation to police consistently, fairly, and equitably.
She's given a speech to the LMPD. This is January 6, 2021. So this is going to be, about 2 weeks, the 19th. So this is 2 weeks before she becomes the police chief of Louisville.
And so to that end, I commit to begin my work here with a focus on rebuilding community trust that I believe was already eroding prior to Breonna Taylor's killing. And I also commit to tackling gun violence. The number of deaths in this city last year due to violence, the homicides, is unacceptable. There's no excuses. We at LMPD must do better.
Yeah, you need to do a lot of better. The homicide rate, you should quit killing people. Hey, LMPD, the homicide rate would go down if your officers quit murdering people.
Exactly. I got here, got there, but I mean,
So this was a 911 call, right?
yeah, the drive-thru called it in.
So somebody called because he was in the drive-thru.
He just passed out in the car.
Passed out in the drive-thru.
Yep.
Okay.
That's
And
why
then
I found him.
Had him pull over.
Yeah, I had to move out of the way, and then when he pulled up, he actually hit over the curb onto the grass and backed it off.
Okay.
So I was gonna leave him here. He's just gonna drive again.
Sure, absolutely. All right, let me go talk. You have his ID?
Yeah.
So the police officer, I guess Brosnan, told him to drive off to the side, and he actually drove over the curb. So, they made him drive illegally. That's the only evidence that they got that he drove illegally. I mean, he probably was drinking, right, of course. But it just seems interesting that they made him commit the crime, and then they're going to, kill him for doing so. That was the crime that he needed to be arrested for, and then he was like, you're going to kidnap me and throw me in a confinement and this and that, and basically fuck up my life, over this bullshit. So, and he's drunk too, so shit, he's probably just all instincts at this point. You're grabbing a hold of him, and he just, you roused him from his sleep. He's all groggy, and he's kind of like, man, what the fuck? Shit! What have I got? He just wakes up, and he's got, a cop in his face, like, fuck, what has he got himself into?
This is a rental car. He's visiting from Ohio.
Hey, Mr. Brooks. Hey, Mr. Brooks. How you doing? Hey, I'm Officer Ross from the Atlanta Police Department. How you doing? I'm doing just fine. All right, so tell me, I wasn't here, so can you tell me what happened before we got here?
Nothing happened. I just got here and was getting something to eat.
Where are you coming from?
Well, my friend dropped me off here, and she brought me here to get something to eat, and
Your friend dropped you off where?
here.
At Wendy's.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Hold the lodge.
So where's your friend now?
She's at the hotel.
What hotel?
Right here at the Home Lodge.
Where's that? What's the address to it?
I'm not sure. I know she's
Julia wants
here at the Home Lodge.
What's the address to the hotel?
How did she drop you off here?
She drove here and dropped me off.
In what car?
And a black Volvo.
Okay.
I
did this car get here?
I mean, it was here before I came. Like, this is my car, it's a rental car, my sister. But, I mean, like I told her, I came here, I met her here.
Okay.
From the beginning, and she picked me up. And, I mean, we went out.
So you met her here at the Wendy's?
Yes.
And then you went out with her?
Yes.
And then she came and dropped you off?
Here.
Okay.
And, you know, I mean, like I told her, I mean, hey babe, you know, I want a burger or I want fries. Hey, no problem. I'll take you there.
All right.
You get your fries and you go back to the hotel.
Okay.
No
So
problem.
the reason why we're here is because somebody called 911 because you were asleep behind the wheel while you're in the drive-thru, right? You recall that?
I don't.
You don't recall that? You don't recall just minutes ago where you were passed out behind the wheel in the drive-thru? You don't recall that at all?
Absolutely, I don't.
Just complete blur.
I wasn't driving. Like I said, I just gave my girlfriend. She probably was sleeping, but
Okay, so, you know, he's just trying to, you know, talk his way out of the thing. Clearly bullshitting in line, but I bet you there's, you know, elements of that. He's, you know, there's a friend, and there's, so they pull him out of the car, and he had a hat on, but he don't have a hat on when they have him out of the car, and he's standing up, and he's still talking to,
You feel completely sober.
I'm guessing it's Gary Roth.
like I said, I just.
Garrett Roth just seems to be kind of harassing him. He already knows he's drunk, so why do they do this rigmarole where like 20 to 30 minutes they're just sitting there, you know, talking to him and saying this and
You
that?
don't feel the effects of the alcohol that you had whatsoever?
Absolutely not. I can make it wherever I need to be. Right here. Like I said, I'm home lodge, sir.
Home lodge isn't close to here.
It's right behind the home lodge right here, ain't it?
Where do you think you are right now?
I'm on Old Dixie Highway.
You're not on Old Dixie Highway.
Well, I'm not on Old Dixie
What
Highway.
city do you think you're in?
Just notify you of the pending. We have 9 pending, 1 car, 2, signal 35 at 17.
I was on Jonesboro.
I have a couple
So what city are you in?
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yeah, it's
On what road?
McDonald Boulevard.
No.
McDonald's.
Past that. Would you agree that you've had too much to drink to drive?
I can focus, Mr. Walsh. I can focus.
Would you agree that you've had too much to drink to drive?
I haven't had.
All right, just take a deep breath in. Put your mouth over the mouthpiece, go as hard as you can. So
So about to do a breathalyzer test right here. This is 40-20, and then it's going to be the last 3 minutes. So this is a 43-minute video, right? They're just harassing this guy. Make the fucking arrest. If you're going to make the arrest, why are they doing all this other fucking rigmarole bullshit? You can tell by their demeanor and their attitude that they're going to arrest the guy anyways. So what's all this extra dumb shit? Fucking either, you know, let the guy go or tell him to call someone, park the car, tell him to walk home, or arrest him, do something. But they're sitting there for 43 minutes just going on and on and on. So the zero tolerance policy, I think the zero tolerance policy led directly to his death. Here's her talking about, Erika Shields talking about the zero tolerance policy.
The level of violence had reached that point. These were not Atlantans. We knew they were not Atlantans. They were lost when they were in the protest. They didn't know how to march to the state capitol. That's a clue. And their behavior...
So they're from out of town. This guy's from out of town, right? He has a rental car. So this is, you know...
So
it's almost like she's specifically talking about Rayshard Brooks.
The protesters who organize protests in Atlanta, we know them. They don't always agree with us. Sometimes they, you know, they'll be the first ones to go out publicly against us. They didn't know these people. They didn't want these people. Because at this point, they were not fighting for anyone's civil rights. They were here.
Okay, all that sounds actually, you know, fairly reasonable. Let's go back to the incident of, you know, Rayshard Brooks.
Okay, stop. Blah, 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 stop. Very good.
I just had a few drinks, that's it.
How many?
1.5. Like I said, I was into the second cup. I wasn't even, I told her, babe, let's go. Because I'm hungry.
What kind of drinks did you have?
I'm not sure. It's something she ordered.
What is the fucking BAL?
Top shelf what?
I'm not sure. It was, like I said, it was her birthday, and it was my daughter's birthday, intent to, you know, have a good time. And I said, babe, you know, I'm hungry. Let's go. My baby's mom, she was there. I said, babe, go ahead. Cool. You know, here's the money.
This is just terrible. How they're just harassing him. How they just carry this shit on. They just got the breathalyzer test.
Enjoy herself tomorrow. You know, a burger or something. Just take me home. I'm ready to go.
So you had about 1.5 drinks. You don't remember what kind of drinks it was?
No, sir.
All right.
I really don't.
All right. I think you've had too much to drink to be driving. Put your hands on your back, boy. Put your hands on your back.
So immediately after 41 minutes, right, he goes, I think you shouldn't be driving. So, he could have called the friend and could have let someone pick him up or something, but immediately he's reaching for the guy's hand and he's going to slap these handcuffs on the dude. And so, dude, for a moment, seems like he's just kind of standing there and he's just like, I'm just going to arrest you, okay? Just go ahead, just arrest you here. And seeming like he's just going to let him do it. And then, he hesitates for a moment, and then you're going to hear a scuffle and some commotion, and they're going to yell, he's going for my taser, he's going for my taser. And then he's going to run off. And when he runs off, you're going to hear the gunshots. Fighting right now. You can't see nothing except for it's just blurry. We saw...
Stop fighting! Stop fighting! You're going to get tired! Stop!
Rayshard, we see the top, we see the clothes, we see the concrete. He's still alive. I just saw him for a second.
Stop fighting! Fucking taser!
So they just tased him again. Pow, pow, pow. 3 shots. 2 of the shots are going to go into his back. Yeah, in the Wild West, if you shoot a man in the back, you're the guilty one. So... Unarmed black man shot in the back. He posed no threat to anybody.
Man, that's messed up, man.
So that's who Louisville just hired.
I look forward to conversations with LMPD about all of that and what we were going to do.
What about with the people?
Operationally, once I begin the job. In closing, I would like to take this opportunity to leverage the coverage to speak to LMPD and say to them, yes, I do see that there's an enormous amount of work to be done. I know that you're tired, you're fatigued, and you feel as though no one appreciates what you're doing. And yes, policing has become increasingly difficult over the years.
If you got, good emotional intelligence, you got power, you got a paycheck, you're doing fine if you're a cop. Jesus Christ. You don't feel appreciated, shut the fuck up. You, every time you take a bite of the food that the taxpayers pay for you, you should feel appreciated. So, she's a white woman, she's got nice hair, she kind of reminds me of sort of, what's-her-face with a crooked, southern little mouth or whatever, crooked mouth. But, so that's, she's cute, right? She's cute, she's probably a little white woman, and she's articulate and smart and intelligent. She's not the right woman for the job. She's not the right woman for the job. So I think she could fool a Greg Fisher, but she can't fool Breonna Taylor.
I love being a cop. I take pride in being a cop.
I love the power and the money.
I take pride in our profession. And my experience tells me is that most police feel that same way. You want to do the job as you were trained to do it, and you want to do it well. And I firmly believe that if we commit ourselves to the highest standards, we're open to hearing what the various reform recommendations are, if we're committed to being truly transparent, we're a change agency. We will hit and accomplish what the mayor has spoken to, and that is being the best police department in this country. Thank you.
So I don't see the alternative vision. I don't see the, what are the different standards and how is she going to do things differently. They just hired this lady because, she's got a decent resume and they had to pick 3 people and they went ahead and gone with her. They chose the wrong choice. Look at all the different choices that Mayor Fisher has picked. Look at the list that he had to pick from because there's a better candidate. And actually, you know what would be best for Mayor Fisher to do? Just pick some random person from Louisville. That would have been better than this Erika Shields. And then train her, get her all the police training and all the stuff, and then let her, a person from the community, maybe Breonna Taylor's mother or cousin or something, get them from the community, get them to be the police chief. All you need is a person with common sense and, that can see right from wrong. So if you don't want to just be that random, then, pull somebody up amongst your own ranks. There's not a single police officer in Louisville that was, could have become police chief. I bet you there's a lot of, probably decent police officers that could have been police chief. Instead, they went with this woman from Atlanta who was fired because of this Rayshard Brooks killing, and it was fucking bullshit. They didn't need to fucking kill the man. They pulled him off to the side, isolated him, got him away from the fucking people, and then they murdered him. Then they killed him. They could have arrested him right away. They could have just said, call whoever. They knew the deal. They knew what was going on. He wasn't dangerous. It's like they just want to hate on the guy, keep asking him questions, dumb questions, when they already know the fucking answers. And, I guess trying to, get a lot of evidence. You got the evidence as soon as the dude walked up and he was already passed out in the car. And it ends in death. It ends with the guy shooting the guy in the back. He shot him in the fucking back because he was running away from him. I mean, you try to arrest him, so they was going for my taser. Okay, maybe at the moment when they were scuffling and shit, but he fucking ran away. You shot him in the back. There was no danger to those police officers when he was running away. And there was no danger to the police officers. Basically, the only time that there was danger to the police officers was when they put their hands on him. For 43 minutes, there was no danger to anybody. Until minute 40, when they decided to go ahead and make arrest out of nowhere. Okay, I think you've had too much to drink, and I'm going to arrest you. Well, all them dumb questions, you already knew the fucking answers to begin with. Why don't you ask him? I mean, you think you're going to drive home? Oh, I'm focused. I'll be able to drive home. Why not call your friend? Your friend, they weren't thinking at all. So when, all you guys are hammer, every problem looks like a nail, right? Just attack it. This is why we need to defund the police. This is why Erika Shields is the wrong person. You need to get a good person to become the police chief of Louisville. Come on, Louisville. The world. Let's do better. Peace.